What's up guys, and welcome to my first EV review in quite a long time. This is the new Highland facelifted 2024 Tesla Model 3 Performance. The owner, Ryan, mentioned he just bought this car about a month ago, and with the $7,500 federal rebate that we still get here in the US, this car was right around $55,000 out the door. That's still $20,000 to $25,000 more than the old generation of Model 3 Performance. So is this new one really worth it? A few of the changes for this 2024 model year include, well, exterior differences. This has a new front end, it has new headlights and taillights, which I do think look really good. It makes the car look a little bit more generic perhaps, but I do like the overall sleekness and just how aggressive it looks, especially at the front. Interior has been upgraded as well. There's more sound deadening as well as this acoustic glass, which makes the overall driving experience quite a bit more serene. I drove up this road cruising around in silence, very few squeaks and rattles. In fact, no squeaks and rattles, as one would hope for a 1-month-old car. This new steering wheel is quite nice. Very controversial in terms of these controls on the steering wheel here. Your blinkers are now these buttons on the left and right, which I absolutely hate, and so does basically the entire internet. That aside, the interior is still very minimalist in classic Tesla fashion. We still have this card key because otherwise the key is on Ryan's phone. We have a new carbon fiber-esque design to this piece where the air vents are. As with prior generation Model 3, to control the AC, you just press this button here, click and drag to change the direction of these air vents. Ventilated seats are new for the 2024 model year, which are very nice. I have these currently blowing in the middle setting out of 3. Overall interior refinement is definitely a decent step up. But what about the way it drives? This is the performance model after all. You do give up a little bit of range compared to the long range version. Realistically, you should still be getting in the high 200-mile range. I think this is EPA rated at 304, 300, right around there. But what about the way it drives? Well, let's go into the dynamics menu. For acceleration, we have chill, standard, insane. Ride and handling, this does have adaptive dampers, which are new for the 2024 model year as well, standard and sport. And then steering weight, light, standard, heavy. And we have this new track mode, which gives us the ability to adjust the handling balance of the car between -10 and +10, understeer, neutral to oversteer. Let's have this in +8 towards the oversteer side. Regen braking, we'll leave that at 100%. Let's see if it feels weird to drive this car hard with regen on. We use this new slider at the top left of this display here to put it into drive. New brakes for this generation as well. Still weighs a little over 4,000 pounds. Oh, another difference for this new model is staggered wheel and tire setup. The old one was square. This one, I guess, is a little bit more understeer prone in theory, although we can probably overcome that with the handling balance of this track mode. New sport seats. I love these seats. They are so comfortable. In fact, the cushioning for your back and your butt has a very sort of firm gel-like feel, like a very stiff foam almost, which I really like. It doesn't just cave in when you sit in it, and it's also not overly stiff. And the bolsters are now more aggressive here, especially for your back as well as for your thighs, but the back bolstering, a definite improvement over the last gen. We're setting away in silence, but don't worry, all hell is about to break loose. All right, let me brace myself here. Oh my god. 510 horsepower, 546 pound-feet in silence. Just a little bit of tire noise, and that's it. Very quick steering ratio. The diameter of the steering wheel is actually very small as well, so it makes the front feel very darty. I believe the quarter mile of this car is rated at under 11 seconds. It feels every bit of that. In fact, it feels quicker than that because of that initial torque. Wow. The brakes, they feel decent, but there's still a little bit of a squishiness to the pedal, which doesn't give me full confidence. Now that being said, I did just hop out of a Porsche 718 Spyder, so maybe that has an effect on what I'm feeling right now. These adaptive dampers though, very impressive. In the firmer sport setting, they still provide a lot of good damping over the bumps, but the car stays a bit flatter. Overall, it's still a pretty softly sprung car. It's not really meant to handle ultra flat in the corners. It's very easy to control. Even though we have the regen braking on, it's not overly intrusive. I still feel like I can drive this car basically like a normal internal combustion engine car as far as the braking goes. But here's where you feel the regen braking when you come to a crawl. Okay, so in track mode, when you launch it, it's actually quite subdued. It actually kind of builds in torque rather than giving you everything at once. But that's okay because it's still ludicrously quick. Honestly, I have no clue how fast I'm going unless I look at this digital speed readout on the main infotainment display, because there's no head-up display, there's no traditional gauge cluster in front of you, and because this car accelerates so quickly and so instantly, I just don't really have a good intuitive sense of how quickly I am going. The steering weight in standard mode is actually quite heavy. Let's try putting this. That's the thing I hate about this touchscreen. When you're driving around, especially on a bumpy road, your finger can miss what you're trying to hit. Let's put this steering into heavy, go back into track mode. I can hear myself breathing heavily. Wow, that is just absurd. Oh my gosh. I love it though. This thing offers so much performance while also just being a cinch to drive. We've got the ventilated seats going. Overall, this car feels very refined in terms of both ride quality and overall NVH levels. Let's do another little spurt here on the downhill. These upgraded brakes for the 2024 model year performance do feel quite good. Not getting any fade, but I wish the pedal just felt a little bit more firm. Oh yeah. You do feel the weight of the car for the most part, over 4,000 pounds. But it does a pretty good job at managing that weight in the corners. Actually trail brake this car pretty effectively. It just builds speed so quickly. Like right there. Held it for 1 second before having to get back on the brakes. Really good composure over bumps. Even the bigger bumps on this road that unsettle a lot of cars, this suspension setup just soaks it up. Again, it's not super flat, it's no Porsche Pasm or anything like that, but for $55,000 out the door, this is really impressive. I think Tesla has done a great job improving all aspects of this vehicle. Interior build quality, refinement, the exterior look, although subtle, I do enjoy it and I do notice it when I see a new one on the road. And this performance is insane. Only the rear motor has been upgraded, I believe, from the last generation, which had 455 horsepower. This again being 510. Let's take this out of track mode. We'll have everything in the most aggressive setting. Let's do a quick launch, shall we? Oh! Wow. Okay, that's enough of that. That might be top 3 to 5 cars in terms of most accelerative on that section of road, that specific section. From low speed, the initial hit of acceleration is more impressive than a McLaren 750S. I'm still not fully bought into EVs personally. I don't trust the infrastructure all that much yet, and the depreciation hurts. It definitely hurts. But I can fully appreciate what Tesla has accomplished here. This thing is an absolute beast. Pretty much no steering feel. Obviously there's no engine sound, but you know what? The performance and refinement and overall usability of this vehicle, it's a hard package to argue with. If I were in the market for an EV, I'd probably pay the extra 20 to 25 for this new Highland model compared to a used Model 3 performance. It's just so impressive. A big shout out to the owner, Ryan. Let me know what you think of the new Model 3 performance. Is it enough of an upgrade over the last one to justify the difference in price? Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.